Today we have a very interesting guest, or two guests, with us, and they're going to share the interesting things that they do in our community. First, we have with us Tina Johnson. Hello, Tina. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Tina is with Significant Youth. We're here at youth conference, and we're here to talk about a major event that her organization will be having. It's the 29th, am I correct?
It's the 27th and 28th.
Okay. And we want Tina to share with us. This is going to be one where I kind of just back a little bit because Tina has a lot of great information to share with us. Tina, first of all, share with Tallahassee a little bit about yourself. Like, as I said, who your mama then?
Oh, well, I am a native of Tallahassee. Born and raised here. Attended all the public schools here. Graduated from FSU here. So I'm a Tallahassean. And I've been working in our community for a very long time, even as a youth and now into my adulthood. And so now I'm just trying to give back what God has given me through youth.
Great. Now, tell us, I guess first, so make sure I said it correct, the name of your organization again?
It's Significant Youth.
Okay.
And through Significant Youth, we have the Significant Youth Conference. There is the Significant Youth Musicians Mentoring Program, and then we're launching this weekend the Significant Youth Enrichment Summit.
Great. Now, tell us a little bit about Significant Youth. I know you told me the divisions, but I guess share with us the brainchild. What stimulated you to start?
Okay, well, as a youth, I started serving in church as a youth. And so what it is Significant Youth are basically kids in the community that are given gifts of talents within the performing arts. And so we're dealing with musicians, we're dealing with singers, we're dealing with dancers, we're dealing with poets. And so this Significant Youth actually gives exposure to these kids to be able to express themselves on their level, using their God-given talents and gifts.
Exactly. Okay, great. Because when we look at and we search the scriptures, there was a lot of performing arts, a lot of artistical talent in the Bible. I mean, hey, David danced.
Yeah, he did.
So, and that's great because and this was an off the mic conversation that Tina and I had about how the arts is a way for our youth to express themselves.
Right.
And as you said with boundaries, but still.
Right, there are restrictions. I mean, of course, it is a Christian organization.
Yes.
So, I mean, we do believe, in Jesus, and we understand that He is the giver of life and the giver of all gifts.
Right.
So our gifts that we have been given and our talents, we basically give it back to Him by sharing it with others, letting them know that, God can use anybody.
Yes.
At any age. I mean, technically, He said that if He wanted anybody to cry out, He could use the birds, the rocks, and the trees to cry out, right?
Yes, He did.
So my thing is, children too can be used by God. It does not matter. I mean, of course, we have to give them some direction, but the point is just to give them that exposure and the ability to do that, so they don't become basically turning around and not necessarily using their gifts for the secular, because there's nothing wrong with the secular.
Right.
I enjoy all types of music, but I think for them to have a foundation and a basis of where their gift comes from,
Right.
ultimately understanding who is the giver of their gift. So even if they use it for the secular world, they need to understand that they're still representing the giver of the gift.
Exactly.
So we just kind of make it full circle so they kind of understand.
Exactly, because if you cultivate that gift, and most of us, a vast majority of us, spend a lot of time, especially if our parents are active in the church, so why not use that forum to cultivate and shape the gifts?
And that's important. Like the churches really got to kind of wake up. The times that we're living in are very different from my era coming up. So my 80s baby. And so, now if we don't track our youth, then the world has been waiting on them for a long time.
Oh, they've been
and so they're just sitting, just waiting for an opportunity to come in and do whatever they want to do with them. So it's important for the church to just give them that platform. Again, you still have guidelines,
yes,
but still give them that opportunity to express themselves, because we're living in some very very perilous times. We're living in times where kids are being introduced to things that I would never imagine. I didn't even experience even in my middle school, secondary education, and what some of the kids that I talk to and work with now, what they share, it's mind blowing.
Yes.
So we definitely have to do our part to try to keep them grounded in the Word of God, and then also by giving them a venue to be able to express themselves and still stay on the straight and narrow.
Exactly. And you're right. You hear stories and you're like, who would have thought they did that?
Right.
Middle school. You know. Yes. So yes, we gotta catch them while they're
can be molded. They're still in the nurturing stage. So we got to nurture them now while they're babes, even as teenagers. I say y'all are still babes. I know you're a teenager, but the world is a mean place, and if you're not grounded.
Right. And the thing I like about what you're doing, you're taking those some gifts are just laying dormant because the child, the teenager or child doesn't know it's there. There's some that, just for instance, like you said with the arts, they're just doing a little something on the padding, but there's some talent there. Yes, you know, an ear to hear the various progressions of maybe chords or the different parts of a song, and can pull those parts out and can take something. You see it where they can all work together. Someone has wrote a poem, but someone has wrote the music.
Right.
We got a song.
Collab. That's what you got.
You know.
I mean,
and
you're musicians.
And it seems that with your program, that's what you're encouraging, collaboration, because collaboration forms employee worker relationships. Collaboration helps teach a person how to be a good employer. At the same time, it seems like you're teaching how to get the entrepreneurial spirit.
It's a definite leadership. We push a lot of leadership. Because children are sponges, so they will learn anything that they're interested in. They will feed off it. So luckily, so far since I started the mentorship program, which was back in 2015, I've already had 2 of my students to be hired by churches.
Great.
So as the scripture said that your gift will make room for you, it absolutely does. If you use it for the right purpose, and you are modest, with it, you're humble with your gift.
Right.
It will, So I'm telling these kids, just keep cultivating it, keep practicing. God doesn't give you your gift just to go dormant. You have to do your part.
Right.
And so we're lucky to have parents who believe in their kids, and so they allow them to become a part of the organization. And we work them. It's not you come in and you chill. No. They have assignments. Their requirements, their expectations, because in life there are expectations,
Yes.
There's an academic component. All of these kids are academically sound.
Great.
That's important.
Great.
So
now talk to us about the mentoring portion of your program.
As a youth musician, like I said, I got my first church at 10. Now, if you know in the churches, sometimes churches don't believe in children serving that young, that early. But again, if God opens a door and there's an opportunity there and it's ordained by Him, then you have to allow that child to walk in and get the experience, because it does pay off. So with the mentorship program, I'm basically training musicians some are currently playing some Sundays at their church, but what I'm doing is kind of help enhance and cultivate that thing, so when they go back, they're not having leadership skills. Some of them have the ability to hear music. So say for instance, if the choir director is having a problem hearing a part, they can say, okay, this is a soprano part. They can play it. You see what I'm saying? So we're getting them prepared to be leaders in music ministry, because that's what some of them desire to be. And then just outside of music, just in life, being confident in who you are and what you know and what you possess, that's important. And they need to establish that now in their youth.
Great. So we have a guest.
You
brought somebody with us.
I did. I actually bought, I've been knowing Kayla since a very long time. And so I've watched her kind of cultivate in our church youth ministry. I have the awesome responsibility to serve our youth. And so she has been serving with the conference since its existence, since 2013. So she has gone from an attendee to now being a part of the mentorship program through the praise team. So she'll be performing this year with our praise team and be leading with the praise team. So,
Kayla, speak to us. Tell us hello.
Hi.
All right. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm going to be a junior at Leon High School. I sing, I dance, and I play volleyball.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Into sports too?
Yes,
Wait,
yes.
all right. That's what we call girl power.
Hello.
Okay. So now tell us a little bit of your part and what you do with Significant Youth.
I am an alto singer in a praise team. we'll sing praise and worship, and then we'll have some singers coming in, and we'll background sing for them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so the event on Friday is a live showcase. So all you musicians, all singers, everything is you. So these singers, the praise team, are actually backing all of the talent.
Okay,
So
great.
that they just, they're getting the skills from if they ever want to pursue being a singer, they're kind of getting their hands in it now of the beginning work.
Because our choir is practicing Thursday night.
It's Friday though. The show is on Friday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we practice, so we'll be hot. We'll be like fish grease, fish coming out the grease. We'll be hot and ready. I just got the text last night. Voices. We have rehearsal Thursday night.
Yes.
So this is also a reminder for all the voices of victory.
Right. I know.
But so that's great. So do you like and enjoy being a part of the program?
Yes.
That's great. That's great. So how do you interact with your peers with the program? Like, are you one to help create parts for the praise and worship, or have you written a song, or has God gifted you with anything and words to share, or what? Talk to me. Tell me some stuff that you do. How you get your hands dirty in the program.
Like you share, for instance, do you talk to your peers about what you've learned since being a part of the conference? Like you invite them to come and see exactly what it's all about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you all have a great time, I'm sure.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. That's wonderful. Okay, so now let's talk about the different events of the summit.
So
for the summit,
yes.
But first, what gave you the idea of the summit?
The times that we're in, normally this conference, we have a full out program where it deals with, we have the liturgical dance, we have the role plays, which is with the acting, we have the choir workshop, we have a health and fitness where we have an instructor come in and teach the kids about health and wellness. But experiencing what we've been going through, watching the news and some of the conversations that I've had with some of our youth, God laid it on my heart, it's time for us to have some serious conversations.
Yes.
And the church needs to kind of be the forum for that.
Yes.
Our kids spend a lot of time there. I mean, you think out of a 7-day week, I see these kids basically 3 to 4 days out of the week at the church.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good because they're engaged
Right.
with what's going on. Their parents have them doing kingdom work early. And it's not too much. I mean, it's on their level. It's an age-appropriate program, so they enjoy. But we're going to have some speakers coming in the forum. Let me go back. There is a boys-only session.
Okay.
That we have a young man coming in to talk to the boys. So it's not like anything inappropriate is going to be talking about, but it's going to give them that kind of comfortable environment where maybe some things that they probably would not feel comfortable saying amongst, parents, so to speak, because we find out that kids do better when they're amongst their own peers when it comes to discussion.
Right.
So that's what it does. It kind of opens up a dialogue. So there's a boys session, there's a girls only session. We have the parent session. I'm partnering with one of our members who works with the Department of Health. She's doing what's the 411 regarding social media.
Mm-hmm.
Very informative, so these parents can understand what some of these emojis mean, because it's more than just them smiling.
Yes.
So she's going to come do that. We have the pastor session, because pastors also need to know that there are different ways, methods, and strategies that they can cultivate their youth ministry. So we're excited to have Pastor Derek McGee from Bible-Based Church to do that. And then the summit is really when we're going to get to the meat of all of this. We have 5 panelists that are coming. We're going to talk about the disconnect between the church and youth.
Okay.
We're going to talk about serving, being young and serving as a youth.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about a young lady coming in. She's going to talk about being young, saved, married, living a purpose-driven life.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about parenting children in troubled times. Parents need to know how to deal with their kids in these times, because a lot of things that maybe they applied back in their day is not relevant. It's not relevant now, so we're going to get into that. And then we're going to also have NOBLE, which is the National Organization for Black Law Enforcement Executives. Okay. They're going to be there to talk about understanding the culture of policing black youth. Right. So, we're going to open up. The kids are going to be able to ask questions. We're even excited to have Dr. German, who's going to be there, who's going to also shed some light on her livelihood as a youth, as a young person. And basically, she's doing the closing, the preliminary, based on how her mustard seed faith led her from a GED to a PhD. Okay. So these kids can see that even though that you might make mistakes as your youth, God still can basically save you and redeem you from that. and
Yes.
put you up where men will honor you, will know your name, and you don't have to be ashamed about your past. You know, it's basically, I look at it as it was preparation for your upcoming. You know, it wasn't a setback. It was actually basically that was a setup to get you where you are today.
So you're preaching now.
Oh, no. So I mean, we got a lot that's going on. I mean, we want our parents to really be involved with their kids so they can really understand that.
And our youth need mini summits.
They do.
They need mini summits. And I look back and I think about in what I'm finding and what I like about you and your program is it's helping them to understand that to be saved, to love the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's all right.
It's great.
You know,
it's a good life.
And I always tell my mom, I said, because back then you were brought up a certain way in church and whatever. I said, but if I knew God was as cool as He is now, like I know now, it will be
it'd be different.
Okay, all of us probably been like, okay, yeah, this cool, this is all right. I mean, especially, and then the thing is, like you said, music, the arts pull people in, and you have artists that are singing about God in a format that they can enjoy and that they love, and then you have a lot of the pastors now that are saying, hey, that's cool. Come on, let's get us a line dance going with this, and stuff like that. And showing that things that were supposed to be also taboo, not, you can't be doing this, you can't. They're showing that God He put things here for us to enjoy.
Right.
And He wants us to have that life abundantly here on earth, not just when we get to heaven and streets of gold and
enjoy life
here, because then you can appreciate what He has for us when we get to the other side. I heard Steve Harvey say last week, I was watching him, and he was saying how you've got to take a vacation, you need to break. And one lady was asking him, where do you go vacation? He said first place you got to go is go back to Africa. He said, I went to Africa and I just sat back and said, God showed out when He created all of this. Mm-hmm. He says you get a chance, if you just look through it through the eyes of a believer of God, you see all the beauty of what He's done.
Right.
And so with these seeds that you have and you're cultivating, you see all the beauty that is, and they can see all the
they become confident in it, because sometimes you have some kids that really don't know that they possess a certain skill. And you're like, you're supposed to be singing that. Oh, wait a minute. You're supposed to be a poet. Let's write some stuff down.
Right.
And it's like, they really don't know it because maybe it wasn't seen by someone else, or maybe they just didn't think they had what it takes.
Right.
But every person, I believe, has something that they can offer to somebody else.
Exactly.
We were just not put here on earth to be idle.
No.
We were here because God put in us something specifically that only we can actually operate in. Nobody else can operate in their lane.
Exactly.
And so with children in particular, God says that to suffer the children not to come unto me and forbid them not. So as the church, we have a responsibility to make sure that our kids are operating in the church.
Right.
Because if we don't, then we are doing exactly what He told us not to do, which is not to allow them to operate in church when they are the closest thing to His heart.
Right.
They're innocent when they get here. And so it's up to us who are kind of seasoned and have been doing it to kind of be mentors and nurture them and kind of give them instruction. And of course, they're going to have to experience their way. I tell parents, they're going to have to learn. Mm-hmm. But just like the prodigal son, the foundation was there. But he still felt like he needed to do what he needed to do on his own. Right. But guess what happened? He came right back. So we are just thankful for that. That's what these kids possess.
We have a call.
Oh.
Someone on the line. Hello, caller. Oh, it's the host. Okay. Good afternoon. How are you doing, Reverend Tolliver?
How are you? I'm good, Reverend Tolliver. How are you? Thank you, sir. With the most. That's right.
All righty. Okay,
You too.
Thank you. So that was our host. He doesn't want to take it, but that's our host. He keeps the line up and keep everything going,
Yes,
and we appreciate him for calling in. So give everybody the information, the time, the date, the location. We forgot about the location.
Oh, we can give everything is a one-stop
Yes.
shop. Everything is going to take place at New Salem Missionary Baptist Church here in Tallahassee, Florida, located on 1201 Spring Sachs Road. It's the only church up there by the baseball field, so you can't miss it.
Okay.
The pastor there is Reverend Hunt, who is my home church. That's where I grew up, and that's where I currently serve in music ministry with the youth. Friday night, talent showcase will be there. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 6:30. I'm telling you, it's always a packed event every year. So get there so you can get a good seat and just be ready to experience these young people. When I tell you, y'all not going to be ready for it, you're not going to be ready. They're going to give people like Fantasia run for their money.
Okay.
I am going to go there because that's the talent that we got.
Wonderful.
Musicians wise,
And chill bumps.
I need y'all to come see what these young people can do. It's amazing when you see them in their element, doing it the way they want to do it, you know. So be there. Then on Saturday, that was a pre-registration event. So Saturday, unfortunately, registration is closed. But for those who are attending the summit, registration opens at 8, and then the summit kicks off at 9 o'clock. And so that day, it goes from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock. You come in, you get access to all the sessions. They'll have the workshops, the activities. Our catering is by Lux Catering, so we bring the best of the best at this conference.
Okay.
We're a very health component, so we're not feeding any children hot dogs, pizzas, and all of that.
Great.
We're going to feed them something healthy because we have to keep the temple up to par in
par,
order to
that's
do
right.
kingdom work. So
Exactly.
for some of us, you know, I know y'all love the fried chicken, but we got to lay it down, okay?
Okay.
So all of this is taking place at New Salem. So I ask that you guys just be in prayer with us this whole week.
Yes.
For these young people, some of them have never ever done anything like this ever in their life. And I think the parents are more excited than the kids are. They come in every week with their kids practicing, and they're just in awe of what their kids are able to do. So that just kind of lets them know that we got a lot of work to do. We got to back our kids.
Yes, most definitely, because they're the future. They're
Of
the
today.
future of today, and they're the ones that will be
Leading the church.
leading the church.
Yes, they are.
Our temple is going to eventually have to pass to the side and let the young ones,
Right.
as they say, let the young ones come on
Right.
in.
Train them now. Train them
That's
while they're
right.
young.
And so they'll be prepared. And I like the fact that you are not just leaving them. They don't have just use Sunday.
No.
And that's it.
No.
No, you're causing them to go outside the box.
Oh, yes.
And stretching that brain and stretching the capabilities that they have.
They are. They
And
just did an event on a friend of mine. I got to give props to Darius, Dr. Baker. Darius and I went to school together, and we've done work together. But they did the Shed Live earlier this month. So they were in a venue outside of the church with musicians that played for professional singers, and they did a whole set, singing and playing.
Wow.
So they're already getting their hands and their feet into the work, and ever since then we've just been getting calls nonstop. So we thank God for the open doors, but we're just definitely going to follow His lead.
Great. And I'm glad that he placed that gift in you and gave you the vision to, and see, He knows who to give the vision and the gifts to. Because He knows that those who He gives, like you said, everybody have their own gift and their own vision, and He already knows what His plan is for you to do with that. And I always tell people, yes, you depend and wait on God, but there's some things He wants you to do too.
Oh yes,
and you've got to do some work.
got to do work. Faith that works is dead. So
Yes,
just
it is.
in that way. You got to
That's
do it.
right. That tree that mustard seed won't grow unless you nurture it, fertilize it, and water it. Exactly. And you're doing a great job, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we are definitely going to have you back to talk with us with some more events that you have, and just to talk to us and lay it out. And I'll definitely be sharing your information with people that I know, so they can, it takes, now Hillary Clinton had it right, it takes It takes a village.
It does.
And I would love to be part of your village.
You can see everything that's going on. We
Yes.
have the Facebook page called Significant Youth Turned Up for Christ Conference.
Okay.
So everything that we've been doing since we've been in existence, all of the conferences, the photos from the live events from the gala. We did a gala last year, which was absolutely phenomenal. The kids wowed the crowd playing Luther Vandross and Anita Baker. So these kids, we're teaching them all facets of music,
Yes.
not just gospel music.
Yes.
But the more that you expose them to,
Mhm.
the more that they're able to basically use for their good, and God will use it for their good. And hey,
Exactly.
sky's the limit after that.
Exactly. So Tallahassee, we thank you for listening with us today, and we ask that you be a part. You come out and participate with Significant Youth this weekend. I'm sure you will enjoy it. I'm looking forward. I'm gonna get my stuff cleared out and make my way as well. And we ask that you come out and support Miss Johnson and Tina.
Yeah, it's Tina's fine.
In her endeavors. And Tallahassee, we would like to say to you that, as always, be safe, be healthy, be happy, and most of all, be blessed. We ask that you have a good day. Thank you.